I therefore like to invite Professor Kapoor to open the forum and share with us his perspectives on this issue. Depesh.
Thank you. In the past few decades, we've seen a multitude of financial crises with severe economic consequences, but most of these have centered in developing countries. In the 1980s, you had the Latin American debt crisis. In the 90s, you had the Mexican so-called tequila crisis, and of course, the major sort of Asian financial crisis. Now, each of these was centered in the South, and most of the negative effects were felt also in the South, although there were some mild, ripple effects on the North. The crisis each of the crises was blamed on developing countries, the lack of sort of regulation, poor economic policies, feckless governments, and crony capitalism, so on and so forth. While developing countries, they pointed to the systemic role of the global financial system, weak global regulation, but this was generally sort of ignored. This time, however, the shoe is on the other foot. Now, but nonetheless, what is sort of clear is that when the North when the North sort of sneezes, the South, of course, catches a very severe cold. So despite the fact that the origins of the crisis are in the North, there'll be very deep and severe effects on the South. Now, very, very sort of briefly, this year and probably the next, we're going to see the worst post-World War II recession in the world. The total expected write-downs of assets of the Western banks will be in the order of $4 trillion. Now, this will be spread across banks, across insurance companies, sort of hedge funds, pension funds, so on and so forth. Now, the main question here is, what are the effects on sort of developing countries? Now, first of all, is because of liquidity dried up, financial flows to LDCs fell very sharply. Trade collapsed, both because trade financing was not available and also, of course, the general slowdown of global economic activity. The greatest or the most the negative effects have been on those developing countries which are heavily dependent on external private finance. This is particularly true of countries in East Europe and the Baltics. Also, the effects have been very negative on those which are very dependent on external trade. So even a country as reasonably well managed as Singapore has seen an economic contraction of nearly 9% of its economy. Countries which were heavily dependent on the export of commodities have also seen a major collapse of demand. But there have been some silver linings, especially for those countries, the poor countries of Africa, countries like Bangladesh, which are both oil and food importers, because food price inflation, oil price inflation, especially sort of affects poor countries which are large importers of these items. Now, the question I think which is most interesting is the broader systemic effects of the crisis. I think one thing which is clear is that the developmental model of the past 3 decades, where markets were supreme and the role of the state was undermined, that will change. But this is not going to be a simple return to the past. I think trade will continue to be an important driver of growth. But in particular, the hegemonic role of finance and the secondary role of the real sector, that is likely to be reversed. And the role of the government will increase, but not in the sense of a greater role of state-owned enterprises, but especially the regulatory role of the state, which had been severely undermined in the past few decades, will have to be rebuilt. There's going to be a shift in global economic power. That shift was already taking place, but that will be accelerated by this crisis, in particular sort of away from Europe and North America towards Asia. The rise of the BRICS is a well-known phenomenon, and of course, especially the rise of China. The most sort of recent estimates are that in this year, when Europe and North America will see a severe collapse of economic activity, China will still grow at about 8%. India will grow at about 6%. These are by far the highest growth rates in the world, and are very respectable growth rates even in the absence of a crisis. Interestingly enough, past 2 months, there has been a sharp increase in financial flows to these countries. It's been about 20 billion in the last 2 months sort of alone. In India, which I follow more closely, financial flows of the past sort of 8 weeks have been about $1 billion a week. So you have seen a sort of return of finance, but only to the much larger developing countries. The small, weak ones are going to face much more severe problems.